Hi guys, so a lot of people has requested on how do I go about planning my towns for each meta for the Gala competitions. So in this video I just want to go through my process, my thoughts, and just show you a general overview of how I do it. Now there might be some stuff that I miss. In that case, if you've got some info to share, please feel free to drop it in the description. It's always nice to get some new input or methods of doing things. All the websites and tools I've used, I will put links in the description for that. So let's get into it. So once we know the meta, it's a good idea just to browse YouTube, the internet, and even Discord, just to get a general idea of how many production is required for this meta. Remember, it might change from meta to meta, but it will give you a general idea. So in this video we'll look at the salmon and giri. You will head on over to some of the visualizers. The two main ones I use is the Lycan Warlord one and the one from Gem, as I am in Gem Guild. So you can use either one of the two. Just keep in mind at this stage the Gem version is being rebuilt. So if you go to the stats page of the visualizers, under calculator you can go through and select the meta. We are looking at the salmon and giri, as it's not too difficult, just to get you into the whole process. This will give you a breakdown of what is required for this meta, all the products needed, and so forth. This I then copy all this and I put this into a spreadsheet. This is then pasted here into this spreadsheet here. Okay, so I pasted the information into the spreadsheet. I made sure to add the main final ingredient to the list. This column represents crafting only one of the main ingredient or meta, which is salmon and giri at this stage, and then this column represents the target amount, or this one is here. So if we're targeting 150 for the meta, we've got this is the result of this column multiplied by whatever we put in there. So this gives us all the required products for crafting 150, adjustable with changing that. I don't want to put this spreadsheet onto the description as the metas change in size. So some metas will have a lot more products, so it's not as clear as just copying and pasting in there. But I want to show you how to do it, and you can just use the same type of formulas. So once you've done that, you know this gives you an idea of how many of each product needs to be crafted and what products. From here you need to create a flowchart so it can be easy for you to visualize what is required and how to do your building. So I use one of two. There's this Visme, it's a flowchart, easy to use, and the other one I use is Canva. Canva is also free to use. So if we look at this meta, the salmon and giri, we've got, this is the flowchart, and the green lines, I'll do that like that, so I know it needs to collect and deliver to a seafood restaurant. It needs to collect fish chum, which goes to a seafood warehouse, and it delivers to the salmon to the seafood warehouse. So if I can get them to pick up and deliver at the same seafood warehouse, that is ideal. Not always possible, but that would be your ideal. As you see, it's easy to just move this around a little bit once it's connected. But yeah, so Canva is totally free. I like it because it's easy to actually add the images and stuff from from Townstar in there. So once it's there, we can go back to our spreadsheet. This is your layout, easy to visualize. Now let's look at the crafting requirements. So I don't bother about crafting these or about these working out, because these I want to have passive: crude oil, energy, water drums. If I don't need to have workers running around and collecting these and I have it passive, it just saves a lot of time. It might take up 1 or 2 extra slots, but it makes it a lot easier or better for collecting. Then we've got sushi restaurant. Okay, so let's start on the top. The main product is a sushi nigiri. It gets crafted in the sushi restaurant, stored in the storehouse, and crafting time of 1 is 3 seconds. I'm not bothered about the skins, ghost cards, so forth, but if you want to take that in consideration, you can actually adjust these times. There's 2 collections. So if we look or reference Dubstep's playbook, salmon and nigiri, you can see white rice, salmon, and 3 energy. 3 energy I want to try and get passive. Means 2 collections. I'm allocating 30 seconds per collection, giving us a total of 60 seconds, which is basically this multiplied by that. This results in a total crafting time with the collect time included of 90 seconds. Just adding those all together. Then, because it takes 90 seconds to craft, then we can end up crafting 40 salmon nigiri from 1 sushi restaurant. That means to craft 180 in this case. Let's just go back to 150 here. To craft 150, I need 3.7 sushi restaurants, or rounded off to 4. Just to go through that again, mixing tint as well, crafting time for a fish chum, you can see that's this whole line. I keep this in the same line. Mixing tent, seafood warehouse, crafting time of a fish chum is 20 seconds. 3 items needs to be collected. 30 seconds per collection, ends up at being a collect time of 90 seconds and a total collecting time of 110 seconds. Once again, adding those up, this results in 32 fish chum, fish chum that each mixing tent can craft. That means to have 150 fish chums, I need at least 4.5 buildings or fish mixing tents, rounded to at least 5. So this is the whole procedure for every item. I just do that for every item. Like I said, crude oil, energy, all that can be passive, try not to actually do that the same. So to craft 150, there's a total of 49 buildings that's required, working buildings. This excludes your storage buildings. For storage, we see we've got 3 different types of storages. We can, depending on our layout, work with between 2, 3, or even 4 of each of these. So I would suggest start with 3 of each, which results in 9 storages, so 3 of each. Our grid consists of a 16 by 16 block grid, giving us 256 spaces or blocks or tiles. I have a gas setup that's got 19 or use up 19 slots. If we look at, this is my tile set. my gas setup, I always add in my lumber mill and my lumber yard in here, just to make sure that I do make them or have them. Some metas might allow you to sell them at the end, but most metas you will automatically require them in any case. So the buildings that are required is 49 there. Ponds and stuff, estimated ponds will depend on the biomes, whether we've got river, how many rivers we've got, and whether or not we need to supplement the water. So with this you will need to configure, play around and see how it goes. Now when it comes to road, this is normally my weak point, as I tend to overload things. I just feel that roads should give you a lot more speed. Things should be faster. It does not always work like that. So I try to stick to at least under 25% roads. If you can get it to under 15%, even better, but that's not always possible, well, especially for me. So that means on this tile set is 64. Don't try and be using more than 64 tiles for roads. Like I said, if you can do less, it's better. Then storages, I just touched on storages. When I talk storage, remember you still need to consider wood storage as well. So that's the lumber yard I've got in there. So that forms part of my gas setup there. Sometimes you might need more, so consider that. Next is we need to consider how many workers is required. So if we look at, let's say, tractors. So in this build, like, we need tractors to harvest the husk rice from the rice field. So every 20 seconds it crafts one, and collection time we've allocated is 30 seconds, which means we can take 20 divided by 30, which gives a value. Then we take the total of number of fields that we will have, in this case 5. So we've got 5 divided by that number. So once again, it's quite important to be as close and as fast as possible with it, because to give you an idea, let's look at seaweed farmers. So seaweed farmers, we've got seaweed being crafted at 40 every 40 seconds. I know if it's more optimum, but for the sake of this video we stick to that. None of the green timers then, so we've got 40 seconds divided by 30 for collecting time, and then we multiply or divide 15 by that. So that gives us, we require at least 11.25 sea farmers. However, if we were able to get the collecting time down, let's say to 20 seconds, there you can see straight away we need only 7.5. So collecting time is a big thing. If we can get them closer, although also production time, we remember if we can get the seaweed farm production better, let's say we can improve on that. Now you see that we don't need 15 fields anymore, we need only 12.5, 13, so now we need 13 farmers. So all these factors do play a role, and I'm showing you this so you can keep this in mind when you start planning your buildings. And then if you go add in all those, then you end up with a surplus of 67 tiles. From here on you can adjust the amount of buildings here. You can maybe go to let's say 180. Will it be able to do 180? Okay, now I need different amount of tiles. There I need 18, so I need 5 there, 6 there, 11, 18, I need 8 there, and 5 there. So now you can see, now I've got a surplus of, what check this I need to do again. Rice fields stay the same, so no need to adjust there. Alright, as you can see, now I've got 49 buildings in surplus. With this you can keep on playing around until you feel okay, now you're comfortable. Maybe with 5 surplus spots open, you can start building out, see how you can lay it out, because this might change that you need extra storages, anything like that. Once you've got an idea where you can, how many of each building is required, you can head on over to your visualizer and start placing them in place. Build on your idea, look at all your stuff, and then take it from there. As you can see, so at the end we needed 1, 2, how many ponds here? 18 ponds. So we had to improvise a bit. That was actually a build from somebody, one of the community. So we ended up using 18 ponds there. Adjusting, play around with this, but in essence this is how you would go about planning and getting your town set up or ready to be built. That's just the way I go about doing it. I hope it helps and give you some insight on actually how to do it. I know it's not perfect. If you've got NFTs, it makes it a little bit easier maybe. But yeah, definitely worth looking into. And if you've got any tips, feel free to share them. Any help is always appreciated in Discord. But thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.